Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
The vice president of the State Board of Education calling out the state's leadership.
Remove the politics from keeping our babies safe.
Now she's calling on the Whitmer administration to act.
We're going to begin, though, with a bridge in northern Oakland County causing headaches for residents. That failing bridge means no school buses and no trash service for the dozen or so families that live across it in Oxford Township.
The wooden bridge was built in the 70s, and it's failing at a far greater rate than anticipated. Mara McDonald is there live. And Mara, the Oakland County Road Commission has instituted some new weight restrictions.
Kimberly, good evening and welcome to the Maloney Avenue Bridge. And if you take a look behind me, you can see they've got new signs that just went up. And you look at that weight limit, that 9 tons, yeah, that's a problem. There are many benefits to living on this peninsula in Oxford Township, but the Maloney Street Bridge is not one of them.
I just wish that this would have been communicated better, that the road commission and the township would have spoke sooner, and they could have come up with a better game plan instead of last minute trying to figure out who owns what property and what we're going to do with our trash.
Paul and his neighbors on Maloney Avenue have now been told because of bridge erosion, nothing over 9 tons can cross.
A bucket truck, a city delivery truck, and a large van, if it gets to 19.5, you can't cross it.
Which means no school buses and no garbage trucks.
We didn't cause this problem. We're trying to help them solve it. I've reached out to the companies, and the Waymaster's reaching out to the companies.
The township is stuck in the middle with the road commission on one side, the residents on the other, and then the trash haulers. The township doesn't control the bridge or road, and because Oxford Township is not a single trash hauler community, it has no leverage to demand anything from the hauler. Neighbors on Maloney have 3 different haulers. So far, 2 of them have said there's nothing they can do, but GFL is sending an operations guy out tomorrow to take a look. Neighbors are worried with winter coming, this is going to be a mess.
The snow is going to be 6 inches deep, and we have quite a few residents in their 70s. I mean, I would hate for somebody to fall on the ice or, God forbid, have a heart attack while they're pulling a can through 6 inches of snow.
Back here live, the original plan was to replace this bridge in totality in 2023 because of its advanced deterioration. The Oakland County Road Commission has scheduled that for next summer. Kimberly Devin, back to you.
So, Mara, what about emergency vehicles? You know, fire trucks, EMS, those must be too heavy too, right?
They are too heavy, and that's one of the first things that the township supervisor did was call over to the road commission and say, you know, we have to have fire service here if something happens. And they said, yes, if it's an emergency situation, then yes, they can cross.
Yeah, okay.
Back to you.
All right, Mara, thank you.
Another effort to put pressure on Governor Whitmer to issue a school mask mandate came from a member of the State Board of Education, Pamela Pugh, calling on the state to follow the advice given by its own chief medical officer. Jason Colthorpe has that story tonight, which revolves around a letter. Jason.
Yeah, a letter that went out today, which was part of a back and forth with the head of the MDHHS. And Pugh, by the way, is uniquely qualified in this. She's not a medical doctor, but she does have a doctorate in public health from the University of Michigan. And she says waiting on masks could be a deadly mistake.
Pamela Pugh is a fierce advocate for doing everything possible to protect students from getting COVID. In a letter to Elizabeth Hertel, the head of the MDHHS, Pugh implored her to issue a mask mandate for all schools before outbreaks send kids back to home learning.
We know that these people know the right things to do. And public health is about prevention. Public health is not about waiting to see what happens.
The governor agrees on masks, but thinks more kids will wear them if the order comes from their local district.
60% of our students are in districts that they are required to wear a mask right now. So I am going to continue to strongly encourage more districts to embrace this, whether it's at the county level or it is at the district level. It's the right thing to do.
But Pugh says 60% is not enough and believes the governor is making a political decision here to not step in.
We have people who are protesting vaccines, protesting masks, protesting tests, protesting the fact that this disease exists, will not acknowledge that the disease exists, will not acknowledge that children have died, will not acknowledge that people have died. We cannot continue to try to please unpleasable people.
She says the numbers are on her side. According to the state health department's most recent numbers, the number of cases of COVID in kids and the outbreaks are growing. And she says, according to the state health department, they're happening in districts that do not have mask mandates. Reporting live tonight, Jason Colthorpe, Local 4.
That is true. All right, Jason.
Parents in Livingston County making new plans to get their kids to school in the morning after their district announces it's suspending some bus routes.
Heartland Consolidated Schools notified parents about 6 p.m. that 4 routes are being suspended because of a bus driver shortage. One parent says the timing pretty inconvenient.
So what happened to these drivers? Did they pull in the schoolyard and say, okay, that's it, I'm not working anymore? Did you know about this on Monday? Did you know about this at 9 o'clock this morning? I just feel that the way they went about it was very inconsiderate to the families that they provide a service to.
Superintendent says the district is working to reinstate the routes as soon as possible, but will rotate suspensions throughout the year so the same routes don't bear the brunt of the inconvenience.
A Macomb County woman is now facing misdemeanor ethnic intimidation charges for what happened on board a Spirit Airlines flight on September 11th. 39-year-old Alexandra Farr of Roseville is accused of assaulting and calling a fellow passenger a Muslim terrorist after the plane landed at Metro Airport. We are blurring her photo because she has not yet been arraigned, but she is expected to face a judge sometime tomorrow. A police chase of a stolen car ends with a crash in River Rouge.
Chase ended near the drive-through of a McDonald's on Jefferson and Great Lakes Avenue. Suspect's car had heavy damage to the side and rear. A police SUV also damaged. It was towed from the scene. We're working to learn more about what happened.
Flat Rock residents questioned Ford and government representatives about the ongoing fallout from the gas leak. Officials say gas has been cleared from the sewer system, and there's no evidence soil outside of the Ford plant is contaminated. Ford says it will increase the checks it's giving out from $500 to $1,000. Residents are concerned about developing health problems.
We've been exposed, the damage is done. 20 years from now, 5 years from now, people are going to start testing positive for lymphoma. What is Ford going to do for us then? Because my kids' lives and the students that I work with, their lives are more than $1,000.
Testing at homes is ongoing. The Wayne County Health Department says some residents could return to their homes next week, but it's unknown when all will return home.
Republican State Representative Steve Marino acknowledging today he did have a relationship with a fellow state lawmaker, but he's denying allegations of domestic abuse. Marino says he dated Democratic State Rep Mari Manoogian, but that the relationship ended more than a year ago. And he released a statement that reads in part, "I will be clear, the insinuations made are nothing more than politically motivated character assassination that I am confident will conclude as a waste of the public's time," end of quote. Marino was stripped of his committee assignments Wednesday. State police, though, are now looking into the allegations.
Meanwhile, State Rep Jewel Jones is removed from his committee assignments after being jailed this week and charged with additional crimes. Jones is charged with 2 additional felonies. Prosecutors say he brought a handcuff key into jail Tuesday after a judge ruled he violated his bond for DUI charges. Jones pleaded not guilty to the new charges and was issued a $100,000 bond. He'll be back in court for his DUI case tomorrow.
The FAA is now investigating what caused a small plane to crash near Fowlerville. Happened just before 4 o'clock this afternoon when a pilot reported his single-engine plane was experiencing engine trouble. Fortunately, the 33-year-old man was able to make an emergency landing in this field, and no one ended up being hurt. In fact, no serious damage was caused. Clear-headed thinking, obviously, in the crisis.
Pilot. All right, well, still ahead, a critical meeting tomorrow about giving COVID booster shots the green light.
Yep, our Dr. Frank McGeorge will join us with the key data at the center of that debate. Let's check in with Andrew.
Kimberly and Devin, after a spectacular looking day, this evening and tonight looking beautiful. Cooling off a bit, already in the 50s in Port Huron at 59 degrees, 63 at Metro Airport. How much cooler for tonight? How much warmer for tomorrow and this weekend? We'll talk about that, the chance of rain, your 7-day forecast coming up.
All right, Andrew, but first, he's responsible for investigating allegations of child abuse. Well, now he's the one facing charges. A disturbing set of allegations next.